Okay guys, finally, after 3 weeks of rest, we have a new episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 248. Anyways, without further ado, let's get on with the new episode. The chapter begins and we see that Yuji has failed the attack with Higuruma's sword, and it has disappeared once the attack has ended. Immediately, Sukuna delivers several consecutive blows to Yuji until he retreats. Then, he launches several of his slashes at Itadori. We see that these impact his body, and he begins to bleed. At that moment, Sukuna realizes that despite Higuruma's death, he took his Kamotoke sword with him, so he won't be able to use it for the remainder of the battle. He also notices that Yuji has completely healed his stomach from the attack he launched previously. Behind him appears Kirara and Ui, who's picking up Higuruma's body to rescue him. Then, with a rapid movement, Ui manages to teleport them out of the area, leaving Itadori and Sukuna alone. Sukuna now knows that Ui's curse technique is teleportation, and that must be the reason why Satoru Gojo's body disappeared from the battlefield. So Sukuna thinks about Shoko, who can use the reverse curse technique to heal the wounded, and therefore could use it to bring Gojo back to life. However, he doesn't believe she is capable of achieving it, as her technique is much weaker than his or Gojo's. Then Yuji gets up, and we see that he has healed his wounds, so Sukuna understands that he has managed to learn the reverse curse technique in just a month. Sukuna knows that Itadori has become stronger since their last battle, and that he could have some fun fighting against him, but something about the situation makes angry him. Surprised, Yuji doesn't take his eyes off Sukuna. Then, we switch to Sukuna and see him thinking about what makes him so angry. He wonders if it is because of Higuruma's death, but dismisses the idea, stating that he simply kills people for fun, until he himself dies. Therefore, it doesn't make sense that Higuruma's death has angered him. It doesn't. At that moment, we see him recalling his battle with Jogo and the conversation they had about his ideal, and how the sorcerer's ideal is to eliminate him. Sukuna thinks about all the time he has spent here, the thousands of years of life, and all the opponents he has defeated. All those individuals with ideals who were defeated by him. But now, it's different. In that moment, he understands everything. It's about Yuji. That, unlike all his previous opponents, Yuji is different. No matter what happens to him, Yuji always comes back, rises, and continues. Sukuna then understands. It's Yuji who bothers him so much. The possibility of someone weaker than him standing up and being able to fight against him is something Sukuna cannot tolerate. And now he has made a decision. Sukuna now only thinks about definitively breaking Yuji's ideal. Then we change the scene, and we see Kusakabe and Ino approaching the battle. At that moment, Kogan says, "A new rule has been added to the culling game by a player. Rule 15. Megumi has the authority to activate the extreme merge between humans and Tengen." At that moment, Kusakabe realizes that it is actually Sukuna. Yuta's plan probably worked, and now Kenjaku is dead, so he had a backup plan, which was Sukuna. Sukuna devours the sphere of light above him. Kusakabe laments the situation, believing that the scenario has only gotten worse for them. Sukuna speaks again and says, "First, I'll kill everyone present, then all the players of the culling game, and I might even play with Tengen depending on how the situation unfolds." Just then, the building they are in is destroyed, and Yuta springs into action. He apologizes for the delay, but Sukuna immediately launches a direct attack at him. Yuta manages to repel him with his sword, and Sukuna speaks directly to him. "Struggle and resist. But if you don't kill me, I'll end everyone you're trying to protect." Hearing this, Rika appears and launches a direct attack at Sukuna. "Who do you think you're talking to?" she says. Sukuna replies, "So, this is the queen." The chapter concludes, and the battle between Yuta and Sukuna has just begun. Well, that's it for today's episode, my friends. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Personally, I found it incredible, and now we are on the verge of an epic battle between Yuji, Yuta, and Sukuna. However, there are also several questions in the air, such as what will happen to Gojo, whether they will manage to bring him back or not, and of course Kenjaku. Although Yuta defeated him, it is highly unlikely that it ended that way. According to what he said, he will return, but we still don't know how or when. In the end, there are a lot of unanswered questions left in this episode. Anyways, don't forget to comment what you thought of today's chapter and what you think will happen in the next one. See you in the next video.